I want to share with you today 5 reasons that I believe that you are not landing job interviews. Number 4 will seem obvious, but it will shock you. 5 reasons why I think that you're not landing interviews. So let's start off with this, right? I saw a comment the other day saying that is anybody having a hard time landing interviews? What's going on with the applicant tracking system, the ATS? I've been applying, and I can't find anything. And I thought to myself, as someone who has interviewed before, as someone who has been the person like being on the side of doing the interview, looking through resumes, asking questions, um, probing at technical acumen, things like that. I was like, you know what? Here is my perspective. Here are 5 of the reasons that I think that a lot of people in today's job market are not landing interviews. Welcome to the episode of Candid Conversations, hosted by your truly Tech Draft, where we are engineered to win, or some of my friends like to say, I do my very, very best to annoy you to success. And I hope, while these 5 reasons might feel annoying, hopefully that'll give you some insight. You can make the proper adjustments so that you can get everything right and you can start landing interviews. Hopefully, my people at Resume Flow who are sponsoring this video can help you get your resume right. And I know they're going to be releasing some new features in the near future so that it will help you with your whole job search prospect. All right, but let's get started. What is my number 1 reason? And these are not in any particular order. Some of them, like, they're just things that I thought of. So when I say number 1, this is the first on my list, right? But number 1, why do I think that people are having hard times landing interviews on your resume or on your on your resume or on your LinkedIn? You have a link to your GitHub profile that honestly, nobody really cares about. Should you take it off your resume? No, it's good to have it to show that you actually have a GitHub. But if you are relying on people to take a look at your GitHub and like, oh yeah, I wanna hire this person because I look deep into this React TypeScript file and oh my god, the way that they coded this thing is so amazing. I have to talk to this person. Sorry, but not sorry. That's not how it works, all right? I've said this before, and people were shocked and appalled. I said, guess what? Nobody cares about your GitHub projects, your GitHub profiles. I'll see people say, oh, if you want to show your experience, you go ahead and create a do projects on GitHub. I'm like, look, no. Recruiters, they'll spend about 30 seconds on your application, on your resume before they see, should I look, if you're lucky, 30 seconds before they say, should I move on? Should I stay? Should I keep looking at it? Do I want to go further? They'll make a decision within 30 seconds. Usually it's less because so many resumes coming in, ain't nobody got time for that, right? Now, if you think I'm going to spend a bunch of time looking through 5, 6, 7 of your projects on GitHub, it ain't happening. It is not going to happen. And I'll tell you this. If you have a project that is actually worth something, right? If a project is actually worth something, I do not expect to see it on your personal public GitHub repository. If it's an open source project, that's totally different. But if your projects on your GitHub are public projects, I don't take them seriously. Right? It's like, oh, a cool little thing. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. But it's not something complete. So I honestly don't really. If you go and look at my public on the public TechCoach GitHub, they're throwaway projects, right? I was trying something out. I was sampling something here, something there. But my real projects, those are private. So, and just maybe I'm putting myself into the mix, but that's how I see it. I'm like, if you have something that is worth a damn, you're not just going to be giving the code away to anybody unless it's specifically an open source project, right? And then there's some traction to that. But you have a link to your GitHub, you have some projects in GitHub, and you're expecting that to land you an interview. it ain't happening. It is not going to happen. What your GitHub can be used for, if there is some sort of technical project that the company gives you to do, that then you'll put it on your GitHub and then they can review that. That is something that I would review, because that is a lot of times how the interview process goes. But by you putting by you saying, oh, I have these projects on GitHub, I did these projects in a boot camp, and they said, oh, put it on my GitHub, and that's gonna land me a job. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your to-do list. It's the same project that a bunch of other people did. Nobody cares. So the first reason that it's very, very difficult for you to actually land interviews is you're relying on your GitHub profile, your GitHub repositories to land you an interview, and nobody cares about it. It is absolutely useless. That doesn't mean take off the link from your resume, but honestly, nobody cares about it. It's not hurting you, but it's not helping you. All right. So that's number one. And like I said, at the end, I will tell you how my strategy, when I'm coaching people, how I tell them to fix the problem. Right. And this is more on the technical side, but it can be applied to any role in tech. All right. So the second reason why you are not landing interviews, why you cannot defeat the applicant tracking system, is because your resume, and your LinkedIn for that matter, is just a bullet list of stuff. That's it. It's all a bullet list of stuff. When I'll go look at a resume, and it, like, this is what happens every single time. Someone sends me a resume, and they're like, "Oh, can you check out my resume?" I'm like, "All right, cool. I'll take a look at it." And it is just a bullet list. It's just, you're vomiting out all the things that you have done. No context, no care, nothing. So it's like, oh, I'll use QA. I'll use QA for example, right? Because I get a lot. I'm in QA. I get a lot of QA resumes. I've seen a lot of QA resumes, and I have a lot of people who say, "Hey, I'm trying to get in QA. Can you look at my resume? Tell me how it is." A lot of times they'll be in the process, just completed a $7,000 to $12,000 boot camp, which they're supposed to learn how to do manual testing and sometimes maybe automation. I get it. I take a look, and I'm like, what is this? What is this? Bruh. It's just a book. It's like, well, this is how it goes. They have listed internship and some company that doesn't exist, right? But then they'll say, I wrote test cases. I did some regression testing, and I caught a bug. And that's your job description. And if it's somebody who actually does have some type of experience, maybe they've been in QA for like 5 years or something, right? But their bullet, and they actually work for a real company, their bullet points would be wrote test cases, set up CI/CD pipeline, something like that, caught defects, reported defects, did releases, and that's it. And I'm like, I know you know how to do the work, but what does that separate? Like, what? Like, it doesn't actually tell me what you know. It just tells me, like, you've been in QA, great, but there's no difference in it. You know, so if your resume is just a bullet list of things that you've done, no one's gonna care. Nobody's gonna care. Which is gonna lead into our third point. What filters out the resumes for the recruiters is going to tell them, I don't see anything in this candidate that you should go and take your 30 seconds to review if they would be a good fit or not. Oh, but that's not fair. It's not fair. Guess what? Life is not fair. The only fair that I know really exists is the county fair that comes once or twice a year. You go on there, you get on the Ferris wheel, you get on the merry-go-round, whatever they call it, the horses that go around. That's the only fair that I know truly exists and that I care about. But if you're looking for fairness in the hiring market, you are out of luck. You are out of luck. You need to outwork your competition, right? If you have your resume just as a bullet list, it's like, Why? You apparently didn't put any thought process into your. You're like, oh, I did this. I'm like, cool, good, cool, but that is not going to get you hired. So number two, your resume is a bullet list of stuff. It's just you're just vomiting out all the things that you've done. No organization, no structure, no context. Just I did stuff. You're not talking about what value the stuff that you did actually brought to the company that you worked for. So either you have a terrible resume that a boot camp generated for you, or you don't have any context. You don't know how to explain the work that you've done in the past, and that is not going to get you hired. So quick recap. Number one, you think people are going to care about your GitHub? Nobody cares about your GitHub projects. Number two, your resume is just a bullet list of stuff that it doesn't tell a story. Nobody cares about. All right. So let's get into number three. Number three, which stems from number two, your resume sounds like every other resume that is applying for the same job. It's so much harder. You see, and here's the reason. Here's the secret why it's so much harder to land these interviews today. Back in the days, but especially before the whole work from home thing blew up, you had to be. It was a smaller demographic of people applying for jobs, and smaller demographic of people, smaller applicant pool, because you had to be local to the job. Not everyone could do it. So companies were actually looking for people, but now you will have people applying for a job that might be even hybrid, and they'll be applying all over the. I'll tell you this. I have people reach out to me and say, "Hey, can you give me a referral for the company that you work for?" And on the job application, it says, "Oh, we're looking for people in this city, this city, this city, and this city," and they are nowhere near that city. But they're hoping that the company will take a chance on hiring them anyways. Back in the days, though, when you were in person, in office, the applicant pool. I remember back in the days we were trying to hire somebody and we were having such a hard time. We actually flew somebody in for an interview. But nowadays, it's not like that anymore. It's just not like that anymore. So if your resume is sounding like every other person's who's applying for the same job, so now a job that used to have, let's say, 50 people applying for it, now it's like 500, 1,000 people, maybe even more applying for that same exact job. 90% of the people applying for that job are not qualified. So back in the days when maybe out of those 50 people applying for it, 30 would be qualified, and then you have to filter down from there. Now, if you're getting 1,000 people applying and 90% aren't qualified, so you have to filter down from that. And some of those are going to get through the applicant tracking system, and now the recruiter has a lot more resumes to go through, trying to capture. All right, who can we talk to? And it's like, who do we choose? If you have one, and let's, because with the rise in boot camps, you have more people applying for the same jobs. You have a lot of people who aren't qualified for those jobs. So you have more resumes to filter through. You have more people who are unqualified, and they're coming from all over, not only the country, the world. So you don't sound any different than them. You might actually be qualified for the position, but it's hard to see that. So your resume, for lack of better words, is trash. And it's trash just like everyone else who's applying for that same job. Your resume does not stand out. You have to make your resume stand out. And like I said, at the end, I will tell you how to make your resume stand out, how to make yourself stand out. But that is another reason why you are not landing interviews. It's like playing Russian roulette at this point with the like on who to apply, because you have a link to your GitHub that nobody cares about. All resumes have that, especially tech resumes. Your resume is just a bullet list of stuff that you've done. All resumes have that. So it looks like every other resume, you don't stand out. So you have to make your resume stand out from the rest of the crew, from the rest of your competition, because they are your competition, and you got to win. You The days of where you would just sit back and be in the cut and oh, I'm just gonna apply, and then you get a job interview in 2 days. It's taking so much longer because it's so much more to filter down through. Companies are hiring, but it's a lot harder. And like I've said before in the past, hiring is super expensive. And if you get the wrong one, if you're like, oh, I don't believe in interviews, I don't believe in having multiple rounds, I just want a one and done. Guess what? In that case, so sorry for you. You're not a right fit for us. You're not a right fit. If you don't like the fact that you got to go through multiple interview stages so that we don't waste our time, then we're not for you. That's it. Simple as that. We are not for you. That's how I see it. We're not a good fit for each other. I can see that already, right? Do the work to make yourself stand out from the crew. Simple as that, all right? Next up. Number four. This one, it seems kind of obvious, right? But you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many people don't know this. What is number four? What is number four? Your resume, your LinkedIn, they do not mention any work that you have done with AI. If you've even done any work, all right, here's a question. Let me know in the comments. Have you done any work with AI yet? And I'm not saying have you gone to Chat GPT and prompted something here or there. I'm not talking about that, right? I'm not talking about, oh, I went to Gemini and I asked it how to write this function. I'm not talking about that. What do I mean by your resume doesn't mention any AI integration? Integration. How have you used AI in an application that you have built? Have you even built an application? That's the first thing, right? But if so, how have you integrated AI into that application that you've built? What do I mean by integration? Well, how are you connecting to a large language model? It could be OpenAI, it could be Gemini, it could be Perplexity, it could be Claude Anthropic, it could be Runware for image and video generation. Any of those, what have you built to integrate into those platforms? What are you generating? That is a very, very big thing, because look, I know a lot of people are gonna fight and resist this, but the future is AI. The other day we had a meeting at work and they were talking about how AI is going to be so, like, we are leaning into AI to make us more efficient, to add more value to our customers. And my question to you is, what have you built with AI? Do you have tools like N8N on your resume? What have you built? Like, talk to me about a workflow that you built with N8N. Do you have that on your LinkedIn? Do you have any applications that are doing image generation, video generation, text generation, and it's putting it in a format that is actually usable? You don't have that on your LinkedIn. You don't have that on your resume. You're missing out. You are missing out. And that's because companies are looking for people who are innovative, and they're using the tools of today and of the future. Because if you're thinking about using what you learned in your web development boot camp 5 years ago, and that's what's on your resume now, it ain't gonna happen. It is not going to happen. So you need to start integrating with AI and list on your resume what you're using, how you're using it, and what value does using that bring. All right. You need to start heavily talking about AI, because while a lot of developers and QA people and product people and whoever on the day-to-day work basis are not, they might not be fully bought into AI yet. The hiring people, the top level people, they are. And if you can show that you are looking to see how you can integrate AI, artificial intelligence, into your thinking, your workflow, your mindset, then that is going to separate you because you will not believe how many people I have asked what type of usage of AI that you've done in your workflow, in your day to day, and it's like I haven't done any AI yet. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? Companies are looking to see how they can be more efficient, and if you'll see, oh, this company cut off a third of their, not a third, but let's say they cut off a third of their workforce because of AI, right? Well, I'll tell you this: out of the 2/3 that stayed, a good percentage of those, they have already started integrating AI into their workflow, and that's why they're going to make the cut. And those who's like, oh, I'm going to stand on principle. I'm not going to use AI. I am not going to move towards the future. They're going to be the ones who are let go. I make it a priority for me to investigate a lot of these different AI platforms, and there are way too much for me to investigate on my own, and that's why I'm always like, hey, how can we collaborate on this so that you can bring that information to me, and I can bring my information to you, and we can work together. Like, you give me pointers, I give you pointers and stuff like that. And what I do, a lot of things that I learned on my own here, I see how I can apply it to the things that I do at work to make me more efficient. The things that I've done with AI, that I've learned from AI, doing on projects on this channel, it has put me in God mode at work a lot of the times, right? And I'm always, like, how can I build this? How can I build that? Things of that nature. So if you're not mentioning AI on your resume, on LinkedIn, you are holding yourself back, and that is why you are not going to be getting interviews. It seems obvious, but a lot of people, they hold back. They just don't. They're not going. They're not going. And if you're not going, you're also not landing interviews. So, quick recap. We'll get to the last one. Number one, you think people care about your GitHub projects? They do not. They don't. Number two, your resume is a bullet list of stuff. Just word vomit. I've done this, 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 this. Cool. Who cares, right? Number three, your resume looks like every other resume who applies for the same position. A lot more people are applying for it. They only need one or two positions. So, right? Number four, your resume does not mention AI. You need to start doing some work with AI, some integration work. It doesn't have to be the most fanciest thing in the world, but the fact that you can show that you're interested in AI and that you're doing something with it, it's going to help. Now, the last reason that you're having a hard time landing interviews, your resume and your LinkedIn profile doesn't share. It does not share. I repeat one more time. It does not share what value do you bring to the company. What value are you bringing to the table? I always see it like this, especially when you are in the intro of your resume, of your LinkedIn. I try to share what value have I brought to companies in the past? What value am I looking to bring to whichever company hires me, and how I'm looking to bring that value. That is my criteria, and I try to make it very, very engaging. But so many resumes, so many LinkedIn profiles are barren. They are dry as hell. All right, and your resume looks just like your LinkedIn, just a bullet list. Doesn't talk about AI. Doesn't show any value. But while back in the days that was enough, times are changing. Like I said, there's an influx of people applying with crappy resumes. People don't like recruiters don't have the time to filter through all of these resumes. They'll read the first line of your intro to your resume and like next. It's almost like resume Tinder. They read the first line. I'm a dedicated Q engineer. Swipe. I'm a dedicated full stack. Swipe. I don't know. I've never used Tinder. Is it swipe? Is swipe left the one that is rejection, or swipe right? I don't know. Whatever it is, right? Let's go swipe left. I'm a dedicated product owner with 10 years experience. Swipe. I'm a dedicated backend developer. Swipe. What value do you bring? That first sentence is what is going to have the recruiter keep reading or not. So you have that resume is your elevator pitch. It is your business card. It is your flyer. That first line, if it's not captivating, then it's over with. You have to get the person reading your resume to drop down to your skills section. If they read it and they'll read the first sentence. If they keep going, they'll look at the skills like okay. And then if they can actually get past the first 15 to 30 seconds of your resume, if they can bear that, then they go into like your job history. And I was like, oh, bullet list, bullet point. I wrote test cases. I built an application. All right. I wasted my 30 seconds.
Bruh. Congratulations. You played yourself.
So you have to have your resume and your LinkedIn profile have to be intriguing, has to captivate the first person who is reading your profile or your resume. That's what you got to do. That is what you need to do. My past 2 jobs actually came through LinkedIn, recruiters reaching out to me, not necessarily me applying for jobs. They reached out to me based on what my LinkedIn profile and say, hey, can you send me your resume? I'm like, oh, sure. And I sent them the resume. And they're like, okay, we want to go through with the interview process. But your LinkedIn plays a very, very big role. I know and it should be so much easier today because so many people, all they do is whine and complain on LinkedIn about how the job market isn't fair and how it's so hard and this is just whining instead of actually having a good LinkedIn profile page and the resume to match and actually posting useful information on LinkedIn instead of whining and complaining all day, all night long. Right. So those are the 5 things that I believe is what is preventing you from landing interviews. Let's quick recap, right? You're relying on someone to care about your GitHub projects. Nobody cares. Number 2, your resume is just a bullet list of stuff. It's a to-do list about the to-do list that you built that nobody cares about. It looks like every other resume that's applying for the same job that you have people from all over the world are applying for. Thousands of people applying for the same job. There's just not the capacity to have maybe your resume is that needle in the haystack, but normally people don't find that needle. All right. Number 4, really, really important, probably the most important. Your resume doesn't mention any AI integration, any AI experience. Companies are heavily looking for how people are integrating with AI into their projects and their workflow. And number 5, your resume and your LinkedIn profile, they do not share what value you bring to the proverbial career jobs market table. Companies are looking for people who are bringing value. You need to share what value do you bring that you bring. All right. Now, let me give you my advice that will help you encompass all these 5 things that I mentioned, these 5 reasons that I mentioned, into a strategy that will help you land the job that you want. All right. So here it is. You guys, are you guys ready for this?
Are you ready?
Your resume and your LinkedIn profile. So when I say resume, I mean your resume and your LinkedIn, not only your resume, but both, right? Your resume needs to tell a story. It should be the intro. Your resume should be the intro to your interview. You need and what's the best way to tell a good story? especially in tech, you need to build something. You need to build something. So many people are relying on, like I said, the GitHub projects that nobody cares about. And you're not showing your the value that you add by just having that. So my my recommendation to people is think of solve a problem. Solve a problem. Build an application that solves a problem that will get users to sign up and that you can get feedback because until I, I was on a live stream the other day, right? And I said, people think that software development is only writing code. But once you actually get into it, you're going to see there's infrastructure that's involved, whether you're using AWS, Google Cloud Platform, Microsoft Azure. You're going to see that you're going to need knowledge in that. And that's going to be things that go on your resume where you can detail, oh, well, for this application that I built, I had to set up this type of infrastructure on AWS. That is a bullet point right here. It's talking about, oh, I used Terraform or CloudFormation. I use Elastic Container Services with containers, doing all that, right? That is a bullet point. For that same project, another bullet point. Oh, we had to come up with pricing strategy with and we're using Stripe to collect payments on this application. So now you're talking about, oh, I had to go into Stripe, set up a business, validate the business, creating a pricing structure, how I created the pricing structure, setting up the product, getting price IDs, linking it to the actual application so that once users sign up for the application, they can manage their subscription, upgrade, downgrade, all of that, right? That's another bullet point. How did you come up with your pricing and how did you integrate your pricing strategy into your application on the Stripe side or whatever payment processor that you're using and on the application side of it? Huge, huge. Talking about metrics. Talking about metrics. Uh, 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 you have on your resume and on your LinkedIn, how many active users do you have? How many users do you have in total? What is the value that your application is bringing? What is the feedback that your customers? What changes have you made? What features have you developed based on feedback that you get from customers? And by doing that, right, and by having and those are just some ideas, right? And let's say you have multiple applications. See, I'm not calling them projects because a project to me is something that you have out there in your GitHub. Nobody knows about it. Nobody cares about it. Right? It just exists. It's just being. But an application is something that you're actually putting out there. You have users. You're getting feedback, and whether it might be a free application, right? But the fact is, you have users. Maybe it's a freemium. Maybe it has a free tier and then it has a paid tier. Whatever. The goal is that you are showing what value you're putting out there into the world, the business mindset, the business acumen that you're developing. Because guess what? A lot of people who work in the tech industry, like who actually do the tech work, the software developers, the QA people, they don't have the business acumen. They're only thinking about the code, and they're not thinking about how to be more efficient, how to make money. So you might be thinking about cool features, but how does those cool features tie back into the end goal? Because the top of the company, they're thinking about the money, the EBITDA, the revenue, the profits, the gross, the net, all of that stuff. And by you putting yourself in the position of building an actual application, you're looking at your hosting expenses, your traffic, your bandwidth. You're looking at how many people are signed up, what's the monthly recurring revenue, setting goals, things of that nature. So it stands you out because I will tell you this: majority of people, they are not doing that. And even if your app doesn't make it like very far, the fact that you did it shows your willingness, your creativity, your mindset. So I say build something, and you might not be in a position to build the whole thing on your own, but guess what? There are plenty of people. You can find a Discord and create a team. Somebody is you say, hey, we're looking for a QA engineer to work on this project with us. Hey, we're looking for a product owner to work on this project with us. And now you all are building experience in your respective spots, and you can even put that on your individual resumes of the role that you played on the application that's out in the public. So now it goes to the ATS. It gets to the recruiter like, oh wow, this person is actually doing something. They have this business mindset. They have the technical skills because they're listening how they use the cloud, how they used AI, how they use payments, all that stuff, all that integration they did. We should talk to this person. We should talk to this person, and then now that they're going, now that you actually get to the interview now, you actually get to the interview. Now you will just brag, and brag, bigging up all the work that you did. What value does it bring to the world, and how you did it? What you did, how you did it, why you did it, and the value that you added into the world. And with that, that is going to make you stand out. It's going to make your resume stand out. It's going to make your LinkedIn stand out from the rest of the world because you, unlike many other people, you actually did something. You actually added value to the world. And for me, when I'm thinking about the people that I want to talk to, I want to talk to people who actually thought about how can they add value into the world. That is what I want. Those are the people that I want to talk to, and those are people that I want to work with. So that is my advice to you. Go out there, tell a story, because you have to be personable nowadays. Back in the days, you could be antisocial, just working code, working code, working code. But now you have to be able to, with the influx of people coming into the field, you have to be able to articulate your ideas, how you did it, why you did it, for who you did it for, all of that. So quick recap as we wrap it up. Why you're not landing interviews in today's day and age? You're relying on people caring about your GitHub projects. We do not. We don't care about your GitHub projects. Number two, your resume is just a bullet list of stuff. I did this. Cool. So does everyone else, which leads to number three. Number three is your resume looks like every other resume. So based on number two, your bullet list of stuff looks like every other resume that's being received, and we just don't have the time to go through each one of them, right? Number four, you're not talking about the new modern technology. How are you using AI in a way that makes sense into the workflow so that you can show that you are thinking about the future and the proper ways to use AI and integrate that into whatever it is that you're doing. Number five, the last one, your resume and your LinkedIn, they do not share what value that you bring to the job market and to the company. And my recommendation to fix number 1 through 5, that'll help you have a better chance of landing interviews is you got to tell a story. You got to tell a story. Go out there, get a team, build something useful. You all put that on your resume and you talk about why you built this, for who you built it for, how you built it, and what value does that bring to the world. And then I believe that your job prospects, your interview prospects are going to go all the way up. All right. Hopefully that gave you some insight. Hopefully that helped. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know some other reasons that you think that people are not landing job interviews, and we can talk about it some more. We can maybe make another video about it. But those are to me the top 5 reasons that I think that people are not landing job interviews, and the best way to fix that, to work around it. And I think that is going to change your trajectory, right? But that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you want to see how your resume matches up against the ATS, our sponsors at resumeflow.app will analyze your resume for you. It will compare it to the job that you're applying for to tell you how well you match up to that job. And if you save that job, it will track the whole process when you're interviewing. It'll say, "Hey, do you want some interview questions that are based off the job description and the resume?" And it will give you, I think it's 40 questions, 20 based on the job, 20 based on the resume, tells you the level of difficulty of the question and what type of question, whether it's behavioral, whether it's technical, and you can go from there. Check out resumeflow.app. I know they give you one free resume analysis and one free job analysis. I'm gonna ask them if they can up the ante a little bit on at least for now, right? On what features the free tier gives. Maybe they can give you some job tracking, interview generation. Maybe I don't know. But I will talk to them, see if they can make that a little bit more lucrative for you guys, so it can help you guys, so it can help you on your job search. All right. The other thing, if you have not done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content. If you would like some additional information, if you would like to join us for our Vibe Code and Chill, see our sprint reviews, see how I train my tech barbarians, go to techcoachralph.dev today, sign up, and we can work together. We can run it up, and you can see so much. Even if you thought this video was very insightful, I have so much more insight when we do our one-on-ones, when we do our meetups, and I answer your questions in depth. We do not stop until all the insight is given. All right. But that is techcoachralph.dev. But with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your Monday and an amazing, amazing rest of the week. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
I try to live what they let go, away to dreams they'll never know. But a drowning soul can't save the tide, and now I see I must step aside.
I fought till my hands turned to stone, carrying battles that weren't my own. They swore they'd stand but turned away, left me to bleed in the fray.
I held the line as long as I could, fought for the spark they misunderstood. They whispered dreams they'd never choose, said they were in but lived to lose. I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout.
I wanted to see your colors fly, but you clipped your wings and let them die. You crave the fall, not the fight to win, a war within that you let begin.
I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout. I saw the fire dim in their eyes, promises buried under their lies. They wore the crown of fleeting belief, but ran from the throne when it brought grief. Oh,
I tried to carry your weight on my back, but your shadow was a heavy attack. You disappeared when the fire burned high, left me screaming at an empty sky.
I wanted the victory more than they, but you can't chase stars for those who stray. So I lay down the sword and walk away. The battle's lost, they chose decay. I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout. Oh, they vanish like shadows in the light, fading away when it's time to fight. I reach my hand, they let it fall. I can't catch ghosts, I've given it all.
Oh, they vanish like shadows in the light, fading away when it's time to fight. I reach my hand, they let it fall. I can't catch ghosts, I've given it all.